Now, I did promise the Tanki Online Smasher Pass video. Now, the only problem I've had is that it's going to be delayed only because I have university and it's way too much and I have to basically, manage my time pretty well. So do expect my next video to be the Tanki Online Smasher Pass. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not Tanki Online is free-to-play friendly in 2025. Tanki Online mostly monetizes all their stuff through events, brand new arguments, or brand new skins. Now, what I've noticed over the past few years, I'm going to mostly be talking about events and arguments for Tanki Online. For arguments in the beginning, initially they weren't as too bad because, they weren't crazy broken. But now what I've noticed is that majority of the newer arguments are basically power creeping the old ones. For example, Duplet for Hammer has been power crept by Hunter Duplet, basically the pay-to-win version, Slugger, Heavy Slugger. There are a bunch of arguments that you could say that have been power crept, and there are other arguments like the new Ricochet argument that I can't remember the name of, and it's super broken, doing 750 damage per shot, and it's completely absurd. Now, before, the problem early 2022, 2023 was that, status arguments were way too OP. And now the main problem is that every new argument that comes out power creeps the one that is before. And that is a really big problem that Tanki Online has, that majority of their income, should I say, is coming from these broken arguments. Now, I do completely understand that, Tanki has to release newer content, but I feel like these absurdly broken arguments is completely an overkill. It's a complete overkill for what could have been done. Like, this new Rico argument could have just been, maybe 500, 600 damage. It didn't have to be an absurd 1,700 damage or something like that. It's completely absurd. Now, the second thing I do have a complaint about is that, events are way too expensive now. Every event, we only have one event every month, and that too, every event costs 700 tank coins or 700 rubies. Now, before, what I remember, 2022, 21, 23 at some point, the Halloween event, the Snowflake event, or whatever not, they all used to be free, and daily missions used to include like gingerbreads or snowballs or whatever it is for the Halloween stuff. And now it's completely gone, where even the weekend ultra missions don't even have those. So the only way to get those new broken arguments and skins is by paying a butt ton of money for no apparent reason. And not to mention that arguments completely get power crept after a month. Like, they get either nerfed or a newer, more broken argument for the same turret releases out. Now, if you asked me the same question, whether or not Tanki Online was free to play, I would have said yes, to some degree, Tanki Online is free to play. But now the more I do play matchmaking battles, the unbalanced matchmaking, everything's just terrible one-shot arguments. The new Quasar argument for Shaft absolutely one-taps everyone. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why release arguments are so broken and, you're gonna nerf them? Yes, I do understand that, you want to sell the argument, but Tanki Online's main problem has become that, we're gonna just do arguments. Skins come once in a while, and that too is way too expensive. Checkpoint 7 for Hammer Ice skin is completely absurd. And even as a free-to-play player, let's say this current snow event, you're a free-to-play player and you're saving up your crystals for, 30% or 50% discount sales to upgrade your garage. Now, assuming that you bought upgrades for, your garage, you're basically broke. And then when the new event starts, first of all, it costs 700 tank coins, so that's out of the way for some events. But for events like the Snowflake or the Gingerbread ones, you have to pay 50,000 crystals for a single step. Not to mention, every checkpoint has 13 to 14 steps, depending on how the Tanki developers have kept it at. And then golden contracts cost around 990 tank coins per golden contract, which I think at some point is kind of worth it, is because you're paying 990 tank coins. But then you also look at the fact that, you know, you're paying so much. I don't know how much the total price is. I'll probably put it up on screen. It's crazy. It's a crazy amount of money, to be honest. And let's not even get started on the Tanki Online Esports Tanki funds, because for the past year and a half, they've been absolutely terrible. Like, first they used to cost 1,000 10 coins, 999 or something, and now they cost 1,250. Now, assuming a free-to-play player wants to buy into all of these events, he physically cannot. It's just simply not possible for you to do it. Now, if you were a, you know, casual spender, but you would still need to skip majority of the events. Not to mention, let's say as a free-to-play player, you bought like the first event in January and the Tanki Esports Fund comes around and you don't have enough tank coins. Well, unfortunately, you have no other choice but to leave that Esports Tanki alone. And half the time, though, it doesn't even reach the highest level, which is crazy. So this is basically my yapp video. So to answer the main question, is Tanki Online free to play in 2025? Absolutely not. I feel like if you're gonna play free to play in 2025, you're gonna have to learn how to use those free to play arguments really well. Other than that, I'm hoping that the Tanki developers fix something about this, maybe update containers or something like that, but that's for a total other video that I might make. I'll see you guys all in another video. Peace out.